Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Tahir Dhindsa and you're watching SDTV. Fossil fuel is a lifeline. We have seen in Iran war how desperately we all are hooked and we long for a peace for the fossil fuel availability of. We depend on that real estate value and everything. But it has a flip side as well. More we use it, more we disturb the mother nature, and more we disturb the mother nature, it responds back slowly but definitely in a way which is very harsh for the people of the wretched of this earth, as we call it, and especially those who are living in vulnerable places and fragile ecosystem. They are affected more. Pakistan is a very fragile. Pakistan has a very rich, very diverse, and very fortunate ecosystem, envy of so many others, but it's very fragile as well. With a little bit change of temperature, the most affected are those who are supposed to live in very heavenly places and pristine mountains and all that. So communities are the one who are affected the most. So there should be some balance or some action to do justice with climate as far as the fossil fuel is concerned and on climate. And that must start, as they say, the charity begins at home. That must start with the community. And that is the reason that the international community is trying to fund Pakistan or help Pakistan in so many ways to achieve this and to start with community. Asia Foundation is one of them. We are fortunate to have today with us Mr. Muzaffar Ud Din. He's country representative of the Asia Foundation and he has worked extensively. He had been a general manager of AKRSP, Khan Foundation, and other similar organization at a senior management level. And we are going to ask him what his organization and what is his plan, what he thinks is the first step to take and how that should be worked out. Muzaffar Ud Din, sir, very warm welcome. Please say something on this, on which I've said as a basic premise, and we rumble on then.
Thank you very much, Dhindsa. I think this is such an very important, close to my heart, what you have said. As you are rightly said, we from Pakistan. Pakistan has been historically also the place where particularly climate-related, environment-related sensitivities were there for centuries. Like we've been part of a major desert. We are having these, bigger river systems, and above all, gigantic mountains having the largest ice deposit. So, this was part of our, kind of livelihood society. But recently, quite a lot of change happened. And because of climate change, and this change has impacted and also affected quite large population, particularly those people who live at the helm of these, sensitive areas. For example, where I come from, or I worked primarily a long time, is in the mountains of northern Pakistan, and Karakoram, Himalaya, Hindu Kush, now it's called Gilgit, Baltistan, or Chitral. So that area has a very, I would say, a hot pot of this all, climate change. But apart from all these things, there are also some good, news, good experiments, good work, which, have been done there by the community or with the help of different international organizations, which you have mentioned, like the Khan Foundation, Khan Rosper Program. And, currently where we work as the Asia Foundation, we are also looking into, we call it the future economy. And future economy really look into, the changes, what's happening, which are happening really fast. That also include not only, our business and trade, it's primarily linked with our ecosystem. That is, of course, our, climate where we live, the resources, natural resources which we endow. Yeah, so that's absolutely, you rightly mentioned it.
Have you earmarked few areas where you think your intervention can yield good and quick results?
I will just give you, very interesting examples which we previously worked. One is, about 40 years before, when AKRSP started working in northern Pakistan. The core of that organization was that AKRSP doesn't bring any prescriptions. They always go to the people and tell them, they should lead us. And one very interesting out of, what we used to plan, so-called development, was that community told us that because we need to grow, plant forest trees. We usually go and tell them, you have to plant this tree, that trees. And that was the first in Pakistan where community-based collective forestation happened. And initially, we as a development...
Collective forestation.
Yes. And we first didn't even initially understand it because, as I was telling you, because the model was very unique that you have to give lead to the government, the community. So when we started this, community says, we need to work a collective community-based forestation. So says okay, because that was the principle of AKRSP. So people start planting trees, community, collective trees. We call it community forests. And up till now, I think around 51 million forest trees has been planted in this part, and a major transformation. So what happened, very interestingly, what this lesson then, gave us many other thoughts. The lesson was that when they planted these forest trees were owned by everyone. It was not by some people, because in northern Pakistan, the good part is everybody is kind of having lanes. So they planted in marginal lanes. These plants also, because these were timber plants, they also provided them fodder for the livestock, that increased. And also they got a very good, because green wood, so they start harvesting it. Very high price. So some communities, earning millions on that because it's a green wood, it's as a cycle. So that was a very unique thing that has been, taken by, some of our previous governments as, to do these plantations. So that was one very interesting example for us as a development practitioners. So we built on that. And another very interesting nature resource was, the government, taking from Western model, established national parks in areas, particularly northern areas, around particular, natural endowment like wildlife. These were, they call it endangered. But community really opposed it. And I was part of that community also. So they opposed it and they says, no, because this national park is not serving our purpose. Because they want to stop everyone to go there, don't hunt, this and that. Then a new model, AKRSP with IUC and many other international organizations, we work together. And they said, why not? It's community owned. So now you will see, if you see in international media, these community-based conservation started. And now if you visit, particularly in northern Pakistan, particularly in Hunza, you will see these all ibex are on the road. This is now a big news. And communities are earning millions on trophy hunting. So, for example, my village, I was just 3 weeks before in my village, which is in the most north of in China border. I was there, and the community has an organization called Shimshal Nature Trust. And this year, they earned a cash of 120 million rupees, which has been transferred to the next
from trophy.
And now it's a case of not one village, many villages.
So why ibex is on the road?
Ibex on the road, yeah. If you go there, you see on the ibex on the road. So that is another. The third thing which really then we built on that was because this area has a problem of energy. So what we did is, even community told us, because initially we thought that power is responsibility of government. It's very sophisticated. But community says, no, we can have our small micro hydels. So we started with the informal micro hydels. And now you will be surprised to know that, for example, in Chitral, where I work, in Chitral, 70% of the area are covered by community-based micro hydels. In Hunza, before, we also used it for carbon credit. People earn from carbon credit. And this is the only area where electricity is surplus. And they are using prepaid meters community. They are managing it, they are constructing it, and they are earning also huge money on that because, they sell electricity. And in some part of Chitral, if you go there, they even push people to use it for heating, cooking, all sort of things. Even I was in an area, it's called Yarkhun area, and this community has decided that nighttime electricity should be free because people want to, the utilization is low. So, which we are talking, so these are some very interesting things. These all come from community initiatives. It was not, a design by any expert. It's primarily come from community wisdoms. So these are very interesting examples.
So the grid has been rendered useless.
Yes, yes.
That is the fear in in central government as well. That's why they put tariff on the solar system and all that. But this Gulf crisis, I think it has helped a lot to reverse thinking in a very positive way. So, do you think that the communities who are just was forced to migrate because of the climate now have some pathway that you can identify them for them?
I think I will say we will not identify for them, but the most interesting part is people. One of the lesson learned, which we found, we development people have their own experiences, expertise. The local wisdom is one
It's
of
formidable.
the most valued thing. For example, I will just
I
give an
agree.
example.
Can't agree more.
If we plan anything, for example, we were thinking to construct with the community, a irrigation channel. So our engineers, it's a live example. Our engineers, because the model is you work with communities. So they went and they designed it through these, mountains, and says you can have a irrigation channel from the stream to that open place. The community said, no, we want to make a tunnel. And our people say, we don't know how to make a tunnel. And, tunnel is, you are, uneducated, so-called, so we are engineers. They said, no. And then because as the AKRSP model was, you have to listen to the community, we says, okay, this is the money, make a tunnel. And they made a tunnel. And you will be surprised, most of our presidents of Pakistan, prime minister, all visited that place. So they made a tunnel, and within 3 months, they opened it up. So it is the community wisdom, because they knew that this mountain is not fit for, these all channels, because it's a, loose rocks and all sorts of things. They know it because that's their wisdom. We only went there and kind of scratched the surface off.
So how did they made a tunnel? The tunnel digging machine or TB?
No, they did it by spade and everything. They did their own design, their own system.
It was concreted from inside. I went to see a tunnel which
Not
was
concreted from inside. This place is called Sost, it's on the China border. And
I know.
yeah, so if you go there, a new land has been developed there. Our dry port has been established by the community themselves. This is the only community-based dry port. And, many of our presidents and prime ministers also visited. So just giving one small example of that, and this is just one example. There are hundreds of examples where you, when you bank on the community wisdom, you create more sustainable things. And those, our lesson says, those, if you, only believe on your expertise. So just telling it is that if you want to solve this climate change or environmental challenge, we have to seriously engage, communities and their wisdoms, built on their wisdom.
Last was the fag end of that. What sort of programs do you think immediately? Because you need to build a narrative for this as well that connects the policymaker in the central or provincial or on the in the capital, district capitals even, and the community at large. What are the pathways?
Yeah, I think because I will say, it's primarily global lesson learns.
All right.
I will give you example, not okay, Pakistan. I worked also, as I told you, I was working for BRAC, Bangladesh. Bangladesh transformed. Bangladesh government is, even not even equal to Pakistan's, government system. Very corrupt and very inefficient. It's openly, everybody knows it. But it is the community initiatives that transformed Bangladesh. They used to have, just example, BRAC used to have 250,000 BRAC schools. They used to have 200,000 lady health workers, community literature workers. In Pakistan, we have 40,000. We think we have a big number. So this was all led by community. So just telling you that we have to engage communities, number one. But this engagement for policy things, for engagement, we have to not engage some people. We have to create some institutional mechanism, which is already in Pakistan through RSPs. Like you see, they have community organization, village organization, which are more inclusive. And also they have special, they call women organization for women's. So it's all inclusive. So if you build on that institutional system, I think all these policies are, can be more effective and relevant. As Asia Foundation, we primarily work on policies. We have been engaged in policy making with the government, for the last 7 decades. And one of the struggle which we see is that these policies are not really owned by people, are not really well implemented.
Ownership is an issue.
So this comes when you engage the communities, so they own it. For example, I was giving this trophy hunting, ban, this conservation. It was a government policy. When community owned it, nobody can hunt there now. Even I remember one of our good friend, chief secretary, went there and they stopped him. It is now banned because people own it. So the most primary thing is of any policy, if people own it, a lot of effort on enforcement, you do some other works and it's well enforced.
Muzaffar Sahab, thank you very much. Obviously, now after talking to you, now I think I must visit northern areas somewhere and see myself and bring a camera and film it. And yeah.
That is most welcome because it's also a tourist place. When you will come, you will see,
Yeah, with your own eyes.
It is managed by people.
Yeah, and seeing is believing.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much for appearing on this program and give us time. So the bottom line is that the communities can manage themselves even in the face of the gravest challenge like climate change. All you have to do is not to disturb them. The best way to facilitate them is to let them work, allow them to work, take guidance from them and allow them to work, and then facilitate what they want, a little help you want, but don't disturb them, don't impose projects or thinking on them. Take their thinking, churn it a little bit if you want to modernize a little bit and make a program. That is the pathway and that is the way forward. With this, we come to the end of the program. Bye for now.